What is up, Broncos country? I am your host, Dak. Joining me today is my girl, Jazz. Kinley won't be joining us, but it's okay because you know how we do over here. If it ain't about the Broncos, buck 'em. How are you doing today?
I am good, Dak. Just a little bit under the weather. So Broncos country, if you see me blowing my nose and all this kind of sickly stuff, it's just because my kids have gotten me sick. But other than that, Dak, I'm doing good. I'm still recovering from the loss a couple of weeks ago, or was that last week? I can't remember anymore.
It's all
But
good. It was last weekend, yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
still fresh. The wound is still
It's
fresh.
fresh.
Yeah,
But I'm feeling good about this off season. I'm excited about the upcoming draft and all that stuff. So yeah.
yeah. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. So talk about a time for an aggressive Broncos era after watching all the press conferences to go off into the off season from the owners to the Sean Payton, the Bo Nix, and everybody. It sounds like they're going to be aggressive and really push their chips and and really get this uh team in the right direction to go back so they can be contenders again, right? And
Yeah.
they did that. Sorry, go ahead. I apologize.
No, I was saying right. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah. So they did that with the bang. With the staff shakeup, they've already guns blazing. They fired their offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi, who's a good friend with Sean Payton. They fired wide receivers coach Kerry Colbert and cornerbacks coach Addison Lynch. So the thing I would ask you, I guess, is why such a drastic change even after we win 14 games? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, and just a gut check, nobody on the defense was let go. Is that correct?
just cornerbacks coach Addison Lynch is the only one. Yep.
Okay. Okay. You said cornerback coach. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's my thoughts. I think that Broncos organization got rid of positions where we just need to be better. So I know like cornerback, I know like we think that's one of our best positions, but when you think about the amount of penalties and stuff that like somebody like a Riley Moss, had last season, I think he was the most penalized cornerback in the league. It's like who's responsible for that, right? And so that may be why, that coach was impacted. But offensively, I think it just makes sense that there are too many times during this season where our offense would just stall out. We would put together a couple of good drives, and then all of a sudden it's like they forgot how to walk.
Yeah.
They forgot they're not clicking. They don't seem in sync. There's no rhythm. And then it
Exactly.
takes in the fourth quarter just to kind of put the team on his back and help us win these games. So to me, what that means is that it wasn't good enough. Like it helped us skate by. I mean, people called us frauds. I would have fraud my way right to a Super Bowl. I really didn't care, but got exposed, right? And so
Yeah, exactly.
someone has to take accountability. So I think that's why we're seeing so many folks on the Broncos organization or staff, being let go because it just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, so you make a lot of good points, valid points for sure. And the thing I would that I want to touch on too is like winning 14 games, like you pointed out a lot of things, is like we were a flawed team, right? Not frauds, but we were a flawed team. And if you're just content with, because for winning covers a lot of things, right? Honestly, as fans, it could be blind the eye, could blind us at times for things. But like, if you're just content, you're not willing to make these aggressive moves, you're just going to be left behind ultimately, because the rest of the league is making the changes. You look at all the arms race when it comes to the coordinators now. That's what's going on in the NFL. The Chargers just added Mike McDaniel's, so all
So
across the league in a
uh,
quarterback-driven league, they're
mhm.
trying to do the best they can to give themselves a competitive edge when
Yep.
it comes to coordinators. That's another way of giving yourself a competitive edge, not just adding playmakers and special talent in the offseason, right through the draft or free agency. So, with that being said, it's like I'm glad that the Broncos are being aggressive and they trust their process of what they're doing because they've already maneuvered the NFL's biggest dead cap hit, right? Like going through Russell Wilson. Now we're not handcuffed anymore and having to play with one hand, but with one hand behind our back. So, with the news after Davis Lombardi, I mean Lombardi being fired, excuse me. Um, do all signs point to Davis Webb becoming the next OC, or what's your vibe you're getting?
Yeah, I think so. So I did see from it was I think it was Adam Scheffner that I think that Davis Webb he said no to the position for the head coach position for the Raiders, and so
Yep.
what I
Yep.
see lining up is that he is going to accept the OC position for the Broncos, and I think you and I talked about this last episode, Dak, but I think it just makes sense, right? Sean Payton give up play calling to, Davis Webb, let him, get a little bit more experience under his belt. If I'm Davis Webb, I'm taking that opportunity
Oh
because
yeah.
then from there, when you are, like let's say we have a pretty solid season and the offense is clicking, then you're ready for a head coaching position, in my opinion. But I
Yeah.
definitely think that the stars align and he's going to be the next OC.
And what I would say too is even this, like when it comes to Davis Webb, maybe potentially calling plays, maybe if he doesn't do that, because I know at this point in time, a lot of it is all a speculation across the media as to why he's getting the offensive coordinator position and why he would, tell the Raiders that will pull his hat out of their name, of being a candidate there for a head coaching position. His role is probably going to be drastically increased in this offense. He's already been probably a part of the game management and the scheming. He's probably been heavily involved, but the responsibilities there will be more added responsibility for him. So it's going to be exciting. But real quick, I guess the Broncos to cover the NFL's Rooney Rule have already went ahead and interviewed two coaches, Brian Johnson, who's the Commanders' assistant head coach and passing game coordinator, former Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator in 2023. And then they went ahead and interviewed Ronald Curry, the Buffalo Bills quarterbacks coach, interviewed for the OC vacancy. So they've already fulfilled that Rooney rule. We're just waiting for Davis Webb to get the job. I think it's
Yeah,
it's very telling, right? It's the signs are there. It's
yeah.
it's it's gonna happen for sure. But I'm excited for this move. What about you?
No, I'm super excited. I think that Davis Webb is he is one of those up and coming, like those really, when you think about like Sean McVay and like how they
Yeah,
came,
that's a great one.
and then
One of
like
my favorites.
Daniel, like he's becoming one of those coaches where they're hot and they're creative and they have like
Oh,
all the buzz around them. And so I think he's gonna come in as an OC and really show impact. I'm not gonna lie, like Joe Lombardi, I really
oh,
don't
yeah.
know what his I don't know what his place was in the offense. Like I don't know exactly like what his responsibilities were, but what I do know is that again, the offense just wasn't good enough, and I think
Yeah,
that he took a lot of the heat for that. Like obviously, there was something with Joe Lombardi where
some
it just
kind of
was
disconnect between the two,
yeah,
right? That they weren't clicking.
so
The operation was like malfunctioning at times, if we want to call it
yeah,
that.
yeah, it
But
just went off. So yeah.
yeah, this is a way of being aggressive and starting off the offseason aggressive is getting the right coaching staff to support Bo Nix, and you want to push your chips all in. You add playmakers around him. So with that being said, also the other thing I wanted to touch on is so the Broncos in free agency and the draft. How aggressive do you feel they need to be
I
going
mean,
into
Jack,
this
I mean,
offseason?
you know me well enough. I have been pounding the table for aggressiveness. So Summer Broncos country got upset with me on Twitter because, I think George Payton he mentioned that we're going to be aggressive. And then I made the comment, well, you said we are going to be aggressive last season. And Broncos country, they're upset with me because they're like, well, we did get, Hufunga, we got Greenlaw, and we got J.K. Dobbins and Ingram. But what I mean is, as far as being aggressive, is getting that stud wide receiver one. Like I feel like we could
Mm-hmm.
have another wide receiver that pairs nicely with Portland, right? We just need someone that's going to scare defenses. And so I think that we should be extremely aggressive in the draft. I know. So I'm
Yes.
not really, I'm not really like too knowledgeable of like the up and coming players, but
It's
some of the
okay.
film that I have been seeing that's been circulating on Twitter is like uh, Sadiq. What's his first name from
Kenyon
Oregon?
Sadiq, my boy. Yo, let's go.
Yeah, so I've been watching some of his film. I'm like, "Man, we could use someone like that." Like, I feel like he would come right in and make impact immediately. So, yeah, be aggressive. I feel like last draft, Sean and George, they do this thing where they always try to find, like, talent, but not talent that everyone knows about, like a RJ Harvey, right? This time, let's go
Brandon
for the
Jones. Oh, well, the draft,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, like, no, let's go for some guys that's just, like, we know right out, like, Ibuka from
Oh
last
yeah,
draft.
Ibuka, yeah.
Man, he
He
went at
balled
number
out.
19. He
Yeah,
balled out last season,
yeah.
so let's go for those studs this time around. So
Let's
I
go get us
say
some studs.
be extremely aggressive. Yeah.
Like a lot of people want to hold on to the draft capital or whatever, but like, and I know there are a lot of people are scared, afraid to like, really like sell the farm. But it's like we have a pretty well-rounded roster. I mean, we won 14 games, but we're like we said, we need more difference makers, and especially when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, right? Like maybe if you want to, I don't know, I'm sure these guys are out of our market range, maybe like a George Pickens or whatever. But the Broncos are pretty smart when it comes to the salary cap and maneuvering it and all that. But if that's a guy that doesn't sign with Dallas, sign me up. And Alec Pierce in the free agency, running backs, we could look at a Brees Hall or a Tyler Algier. But I'm not afraid of making any moves, and the Broncos, I don't think, will either, to really surround Bo Nix and helping him be successful. And this is a vital year for Bo Nix, being in year 3, because they need to really give this gentleman an opportunity to really showcase his talents and really help him elevate the playmakers around him to see what his true ceiling is, because we don't even know. This is only year 2, and he's won 14 games, 24 regular season games altogether. And it's like you saw him already beat Josh Allen head to head in a shootout, carrying us like Superman, and amongst of other big games that he had. So to really, I mean, at the end of the year 3, he's due for an extension.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to kind of keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And I think it would be like anywhere near like the Brock Purdy benchmark, just a little more inflated.
Mhm.
But that's something to keep in mind too. Like this is a pivotal offseason for Bo Nix when it comes to his development and more
Yeah.
clarity.
Yeah, and if I'm Bo, I'm like, I am begging at this point for a solid run game. Like, get me some running backs. Like, I can't keep, putting myself in this position
Yes.
because um after a while, it puts Bo in a position to where it's too much pressure for him. So yeah, give the kid a solid running game, give him some
Yes.
great weapons, and just watch him grow.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think that Bo is going to have a great offseason. He already mentioned that he was only taking about 12 weeks off from his injury. And so right after that, he plans to, start working out and getting his body right for the upcoming season. So I think that he's going to be locked in. I think that George and Sean, they're going to do their jobs by finding the right people to, surround Bo by. And I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited that the Twitter feed, even other social media outlets, all of
Mhm.
Broncos country is very excited about us just being aggressive because they know what's coming. It's a good change of pace for once. We're not having to work around the margins or whatever. Like we said, Russell Wilson's in the past now. Let's have some fun. You know what I mean? So
Track. You've hunted up for way too long.
yeah, yeah. So I'm excited. But what other thoughts do you got on the off season?
Um, I just keep building the trenches, and I think we talked about this last pot too. But even with the offensive line, go ahead and replace those positions where we're the
Yes.
weakest, right? But everything should be about the offense, in my opinion, Dak. I feel like we have showed so much love to the defense, and we have some really great pieces on defense. Um, I'm not saying don't do anything at all, but the main focus should be the offense because once we have an offense that is producing at a high level, just like our defense is on a consistent basis, this team is going to be extremely scary. And you already hear some players like Von Miller talking about how scary the Broncos will be next year because to your point, now we have more money to work with, so we can get some talented free agents. People want to come here and just be a part of the organization. There's just so many great things happening for Broncos country. So I would just say just continue focus on the offense. Um, hold Sean's feet to the fire. Don't let him get away with just bringing on injury prone players. Like, no, get
Oh,
some players that have, that's shown that they can play a full season healthy.
oh
And
yeah.
we just can't keep taking these sort of chances because I can only think like if J.K. Dobbins would have been healthy entire season, we're talking about an entirely different season here.
Yeah.
Still, Bo would not be obviously he wouldn't be running as much, in my opinion,
Yeah.
right? And so that could have potentially, you never know, but maybe he wouldn't have gotten hurt. I don't know until after the Super Bowl. Who knows? But anyways, just keep focusing on
Yeah,
offense.
I felt like you make a lot of good points, and it's like I think the load was pretty heavy on Bo Nix when it comes to this offense and really carrying it. I mean, I know it's part of development for some things, but there's some things that we can control. I mean, injuries aren't one of those things, right? But like getting him some help is definitely something. And I don't. This is like I said maybe on the last episode. This is the second off season where we're going into it, and he's had some kind of type of injury where he's having to have surgery. We don't want to continue that, right? We want to change that, and by doing that, you add the talent around him. So yeah, get him a running game. He needs a running game. I feel like you add that, you add a tight end, a wide receiver, somebody that can make a difference opposite Cortland Sutton. We're sitting pretty, and then the nice thing too, like to touch on the defense. Now I know we don't really need to focus. We have a few things maybe that we can add on that side of the ball, but Vance Joseph. I mean, it's not even sure now that he's going to be getting a head coaching job at all this go round, which is kind of surprising to me, being the amount of positions that were available out there.
I think he wanted
Um,
to stay.
yeah, sometimes the grass isn't always greener, right? Like you look at the situation, you're like, do I really want to deal with this kind of thing? And I mean, right, he has a good spot. The defense is flying high under him. Like, why not stay in Denver, right?
Mhm. He loves
But
Denver.
another guy that we have that's on the move, which I mean, a lot of people expected Vance Joseph to be gone, but it's Jim Leonard, and he's already
Mhm.
received a second interview with the Bills, I believe, and he's probably going to end up getting their defensive coordinator position, which is pretty
I heard
crazy. It was supposed to be flip flopped or whatever, like he would have stayed or whatever as a replacement. But
I
I'm
know.
excited for this
I was
offseason.
looking forward to that too, but Vance Joseph staying, there's just something about just continuity in
Yes.
itself. So just, with him staying, I feel like the players on defense love him. Everything's worked for the most part, things are working. So I wouldn't mind BJ for another season. I think that would be great for us actually.
Yeah, for sure. No, this was a good chat. This was good episode, I think, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know what you guys think of the coaching decisions that the Broncos have done. Let us know if the Broncos should be aggressive or not. What players that you want to see on this team? We're all up for the conversation. Please drop your comments down below, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. If this is your
Yeah.
first time watching us,
Zach, I have a question for you before we drop.
yeah.
What would you give, or would you give up anything for a George Pickens if he wants to come to Denver? Would
Oh,
you?
man. Yeah, I would sign him immediately. He's up there for me. Like I said, the Denver Broncos are smart with operating their cap space. I'm sure they wouldn't be backbreaking. That's why I'm not the general manager. That's why they are the ones in charge. But
Yeah.
George Pickens has a relationship with Bo Nix, right? They go back into their high school days.
Yep.
How fun would that be? You saw, I mean, I was looking at in terms of his production, he was number 3 in the NFL, ahead of Jamar Chase. Why wouldn't you give him some money to come to Denver? And I think maybe he would be enticing for him to play with Bo Nix as his quarterback.
Yeah, I really think so too, Dak. And what's even crazier is like I think that Portland and George Pickens could be our new Demarius Thomas and Manuel Sanders
Boom.
duo because we
Yeah.
haven't had it in a very long time. And so, man, if we could get like a George Pickens type of player, oh my,
Yes. This
goes so
defense,
bad
the
for the rest
offense, the ceiling goes so high for the offense if it does, right? Like
of
honestly,
the
even like an Alec Pierce, he's actually like he reminds me a lot of an Eric Decker. He's like about 6'3", 2 something.
Yep.
But he's a fast, just a tad faster than Eric Decker was. But that's another guy too that's out there on the market that I'd be intrigued by adding to this offense. But like I said, overall, and you and I talked about, we just need more difference makers on the offense to really
Yep.
make defenses respect us and take the load off Bo Nix so that we can get back to the AFC Championship game, and then advance to the Super Bowl like we deserve, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that was it for this episode, Broncos country. Any last words though, Jazz?
Nope,
No?
no last words, but enjoy your weekend. Thank you
You
everyone
too.
that watched, and please follow us on Twitter and YouTube. Please subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, enjoy your weekend.
Enjoy your weekend, and I hope you enjoy your weekend and you get better. Ladies,
Thank
you
you.
already know how we do. If it ain't about the Broncos, buck 'em out. High salute. Let's have a good off season. Bye bye, y'all.